it is the new year. Through the end of September, obviously, that was the end of the fiscal year, and we'll be talking about that a little bit. And with us, we have Jamey Zell. Say hey, Jamey.
Good morning, everybody. Hope you're having a good day and off to a great start in the 2015 fiscal year for federal government.
Yeah, man, rock and roll. We're ready to rock and roll. So the numbers that matter most, if you've been here before, you know what the drill is. 344, 710, and I'm adding another one, which is 1,075, because we're going to be taking a look at some longer term things, and we'll get to exactly what those are. Real quick about what we're going to be doing today, we'll talk a little bit about us. We're going to be going through the GSA sales numbers because they released them earlier this week. We'll be talking about a little bit about compliance and resources that work to help you get pumped up here in 2015. And a little bit about us. We are business development specialists. We operate in the federal space. That's all we do. And we help folks connect the dots between the federal buyers and the small businesses and medium-sized businesses to get in line and in position for those federal opportunities. We do this multiple ways. We have intelligence products that help you understand the marketplace and be able to identify the key buyers in the federal space, as well as some of the other key players. We provide vehicle, your contract vehicle, whether it's GSA contracts or others, developing certifications like your 8A statuses and things like that. We provide marketing services. We advise, assist, and we manage folks. And what we mean by that is we either can advise you on what to do, we can assist you in the process, or we can manage your folks in making sure they're going the right direction. We also supply dedicated representation in Washington, D.C., which is what most folks really need when it comes to business development. We have a successful track record of booking millions, tens of millions of dollars in the federal space, both direct and indirect with the federal government. So the other folks that we work with is Revolution Payments. They do merchant card services. If you're doing credit cards, you need to know about them because they provide the ability to take advantage of level 3 compliance. And if you're doing anything credit card wise, this is very important because this is bottom line dollars with being able to decrease your expenditures for that. So get in touch with Revolution Payment Systems so they can help you do that. Some housekeeping pieces. If you have any questions, open that right panel on the right hand side with a little arrow, and you can ask us questions right here in there. And you also, if you called in on the telephone, make sure that you enter the phone, the little pin, the audio pin. Don't enter 13. That's my old one, but whatever number that is, make sure you put that in so we can unmute you. And the question of the day is, why are you here today? What would you like to know today? We have our own agenda and things like that, but we often branch off into conversations for you and answering questions for you. And we'd love to be able to do that. So pop open that panel over there and let us know why you're here today. And real quick, we did this if you filled it out on your way into this when you first registered. These are the types of things. Figured out how to get a sale. Sandra wants to know how to get a sale. Rob Wongard, who's actually a client of ours, wants to increase the sales by 20%. Ron wants to make contacts to grow business. Very good. Looking at the contacts that are associated with buying processes. Scott Rice, how do I best market or search for opportunities to sell off my GSA schedule? Great question. Barath, I will get a strategy of how small companies should target opportunities without agency past performance. Everybody knows that you need past performance. You see these things. How do you get that catch-22? How do you meet that catch-22? You can certainly do it through subbing to a prime, but there's other ways to do it too, running direct. So that's great. Paul, I've gotten the we post FBO, just monitor FBO responses. Is that true? Everybody, is that true? No, that's not true. They've got meetings and they still give you the same statement. So some of that, Paul, has to do with who you're meeting with, because if you're meeting with the small business liaison, they're going to do the same thing. But if you're meeting with the right people, you will not get those kinds of answers. So I've given up on marketing. Just watch FBO and eBuy. What else is there to do? We're going to tell you a couple of those things as well. John, if I could get more sales with my GSA number. Nancy, I've mentioned Nancy before. I have not been able to sell the required $25,000 per year. How many of you folks are in this situation where you've gotten a letter from the GSA and they're looking at canceling your contract? You've worked, you've tried, you've gone to all the small business connectivity meetings, and you still goose egging it. So those are the types of things that we're going to talk about as well. And let's see. I'll get to the other folks in a minute. Danielle, how do we find out if procurement is wired before wasting precious time in proposal development? Absolutely. If you didn't wire the proposal, somebody else did. Great, Danielle. Barbara, this webinar included forecast based upon expiring task orders or BPA under schedules. Woo, that's pretty deep. We do actually do the research on that. That's not part of this particular one, Barbara, but we will absolutely show you how we go about doing that. 93% have a need with business development. And Jennifer Thomas, tips for winning bids. And Hal, Happy New Year to you. So hold on a second. We got Hal here. Hal, did you put in your pin so we can do some dialogue? I want to hear about it. Good 2014, he says, but need a better 2015. And then others asking Sarah's asking a question of where do we find the people? We'll get to that in a little bit. So Hal, if you type that in, I'll definitely include you in the conversation. So just to recap for 2014, what just happened? What just happened at September 30th is they spent every budgeted dime. They spent everything. 200 to 1,200% increase in contract activity, depending on the agency. The response times were as short as 24 hours. That means that they put out a bid and it had to be responded to within 24 hours. Less competition, usually less than 3. We saw tons of that, by the way, tons of it. Fast approval had to be done by 9:30. Overnight and weekend activity. How many of you folks saw that there were opportunities coming out at 10, 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning? Yeah, a lot of stuff happening, a lot of weekend activity. How many of you folks had negotiated pricing that you did in working that out? Hal doesn't have a pen, so we're just going to have to text him for the rest of the day. He's just going to have to text in. And I can talk a lot faster than I can text, Hal, so there you go. There were billions of dollars in new projects. And real quick, to show you what that means and the importance of September and concentrating on September, the baseline of spending that you're going to see throughout the year looks kind of like this. And we're right down in October, November timeline where there's not a whole lot of new spending happening. A lot of it is recurring spending or maintenance, previous contracts. All the new projects essentially come in the July, August, and September range, most of them anyway. Hal did get a pin. So tell us, hang on a second, Hal. I'm going to unmute you. You there, Hal?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. How you doing, man?
Great.
Good to see you here again. So tell us about your 2014 and what you guys did. First of all, tell everybody who you are and what you guys do.
I'm with the Phoenix Government Services out of St. Louis. And I can't tell you how we did it or what we did, but we had two major contracts came in, paid up front.
Paid up front? No way, Hal. Yeah. You have to wait to get things paid for in the government. Everybody knows that.
Of course.
Of course.
Got it 2 weeks before the end of the year.
Good for you. Well, congratulations on that, and that kind of reinforces what we've been talking about. How important is September to your company, government-wise?
Nobody's allowed to get sick or go on vacation.
Isn't that the truth? And you know what I did?
September.
You know what I did October 1st? I blew this town, man. I was gone for 2 weeks. I was like, that's it. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to talk to anybody. And that's that. Well, congratulations again, and good work on that and getting yourself set up for that. Because now you didn't just walk in September 1st and say, hey, I want to do something September 15th, right?
No, sir.
No. When did you start marketing for that?
April, May.
April. And even then, you could have been behind.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
We were. It was looking like it was going to go to November.
So looking out the advice there, I'm going to extrapolate that for everybody. The advice is you got to jump in and you got to be looking at what happens here. So, and in fact, here's how winners win. And you won in September. You won. So you were talking about what was happening in April. So that was times when there wasn't any sales, right? There wasn't a whole lot of sales in April for you, right?
Right.
Right. So what were you doing in April to get yourself ready for September?
Just what you have on the screen there.
There you go, baby. It doesn't, and it's not like it's complicated. It's not some silver bullet, right?
Yes, sir.
So you get in, you work your business development, work your plan, keep on pressing people through March, April, May, June, even starting now. Now is one of the best times for business development because nobody has any money.
Right.
They're going to tell you, I don't have any money. Just watch FBO or watch eBuy. They're going to tell you that. Now, did your opportunity come through eBuy?
No.
How did it come? It was FBO?
Yep.
FBO after you helped bake it.
Am I being vague?
Yeah. I can tell you.
My competitor may be listening to this.
It could be. So we make sure that you don't have to tell them all the secrets. But the fact of the matter is you were in and you helped craft that. You helped build the relationship so that you were in position in September when that thing popped.
Yes, sir.
And that's just the way life is. So great, good, congratulations. And if you have any other questions or you want to pipe in, feel free. I'm gonna mute you back up because you never know what's going to happen with feedback. But Hal is a great guy. Really appreciate that. Congratulations. And here's what he did. Here's how he got there. He marketed. He did introductions, did follow-ups, worked the referrals. He worked in through, made sure he was connected, and then he became a resource for the customer, educating them and following up and providing sample scopes of work and ultimately responding to that proposal. But I'm telling you the truth, most of everything that he was doing there, he was doing this all the way through. Follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up. Didn't happen by accident. Nobody pointed and clicked and gave him that contract. He was in there doing the business development, and that's what those pieces mean. Your competitions have been doing this all year already. They're already there. They have the experience. They're doing it right now. They're in there. They're already there. And if in this instance, Hal didn't have anything to lose because he wasn't in, but now he does and now he's in there. He's working it. He's making sure that he's going to stay in there. Here's how losers lose. No business development, no sales, and a lot of folks are in this place. They're saying, hey, how do we do this? How do we get here? And we got our GSA schedule and we just expect the money to fall from the sky, and it just doesn't happen that way. It just simply does not happen that way. This is the way that it works. If you look at successful companies, you'll see that there's a concentrated effort. There's a breakout, usually in September, and then boom, your growth happens through September. So the concentration is on September. So what happens now? What happens now, Jamey?
It all starts over again. It's the smoke is cleared from the end of September. It's brand new budgets coming together, and it's starting the 2015 year. And now it's time to get out there and get in front of those people and forge those relationships, so you're sitting in the right spot when things come around and they start to open up.
Absolutely. So it all starts over. So the numbers that matter most, you should probably have this by now. 344 days to the end of 2015, 710 through the end of 2016, and 1,075 to 2017. Now, I want to keep the folks that are out there that are business owners, and there's a bunch of them on this call. Think about how long you've been in business and think about how long it took to get your traction in your business and actually get it to work. These numbers are not out of line. If you're entering this marketplace, you're relatively new in the federal space, or you've actually been here and you want to grow in the federal space. These numbers still apply. And you got to pay attention to fiscal year end. That is where your pay dirt is. So if it's starting all over again and people buy from people they like, and if it's starting all over, who are they buying from? And who would they be buying from again? If it starts all over and nothing changes, who are they going to be buying from again? So let's take a look at that. I'm going to bounce out of this. I'm going to try to do this without causing any kind of grief here. I'm going to escape that and remove this. Pay no attention to the man behind the screen. The curtain. Okay, there we go. I'm going to drive everybody to gsamarketcap.us. We supply some information for these folks. And you can go here, gsamarketcap.us. I'm going to put this in the chat real quick for everybody to see. Oopie. So you can go here and you can download the sortable Excel file. If you haven't done this, it's free. There's nothing to it. And you can see some great articles from very talented people there. In case you didn't know, that was Jamey and me. So, but you're going to get this. This is the file that comes down. Now I'm running on a Mac, so it looks a little different on a PC. But here we go. You can see all the different contracts, and you can see all the different companies that are doing GSA sales. So you can look by schedule. It's all sortable. You can do it ascending by schedule, or if you really want to, you can actually select certain schedules. So if you're a Schedule 70 holder, and here's the information for all the Schedule 70 holders. And you can just the little filter things. It's an Excel thing. It's not anything major, but you can clear that filter. You can see it out. You can see all the folks there. Now, the green ones are folks that are doing okay. That means they did $25,000 or more. The yellow ones, they're kind of in the middle there. They got some sales, but they haven't reached a $25,000 minimum. And then you have the red, which are the ones that, the ones that don't have any sales at all. Make sense? So this you can see, and you can look at all your competitors, and you can see the kind of dollars that they're doing with their GSA schedules. Now, I'm here to tell you something. I don't think this is all of the money that happened through GSA, because if you have a GSA schedule, you have to turn in your sales by the end of this month for September. And we know that September's pay dirt. Don't ask me why they put this out as the final for 2014. Maybe they'll update it. Maybe they won't. I doubt it, because they didn't even update this but twice this year. And they're supposed to do it quarterly. So I don't have a whole lot of faith in these numbers, but you at least can see the ones that are doing well and the ones that are not doing so well. Maybe there's a factor of a little bit here that's going to get changed, or that are different. So if your schedule is saying, hey, we've done a lot more than that and we reported that, here's the answer why, because it hasn't really been updated yet completely. So GSA is driving me nuts right at the moment. So I'm kind of having a half pity party for myself on that. But here's what you can do as far as checking out what your competitors are doing. You can do a search for them and see. Download that at gsamarketcap.us. You can just click on that link and you can go grab that. But we're going to look at some of these things, and let me pop up real quick. Let me see. Hal, you're still there, Hal?
Yes, sir.
So you're with Phoenix, right?
Right.
Why didn't that come up? Probably because it has to be capitals or something. Oh, I know why. Because I searched for something the other, and this just drives me nuts. Okay, Phoenix. Why not? That's how you spell Phoenix, right?
Yes, sir.
So it's not Phoenix Technology, right?
Nope, Phoenix Textile.
Textile?
Yep, 73.
There we go. So is it? I gotta ask you, is this number right? 1.195?
No.
Where were you at the end of last year?
Probably about 3.5.
3.5. So I didn't make these numbers up. These numbers came from GSA directly. I just made it look like you can do something with it. So there's definitely a factor here that's not quite right, and they don't care about the reporting. So we do research outside of this, because I don't find this to be all that good. But you can find the people within Schedule 73 that you compete against, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So though this is one place that you can at least look. If you're new to the federal government, new to GSA, you can take a look and see where your competitors are falling. Now, to me, the most important thing is what happens after that, because if we go back to our presentation here, we go here and we pop this up, like I actually know what I'm doing. There we go. So if people buy from people they like, and it starts all over, who are they going to be buying from right now? They're going to be buying from the same people that you just saw from the GSA side. Now, how much of your sales is GSA and how much of your sales is not GSA?
I'd say about 50-50.
About 50-50. So embedded in that, okay, you got your 3.5 million that you did. Congratulations again. That's good work. Good work. So you got probably $6.5, $7 million that you're doing with the feds, which some of that's not hitting GSA or not being used by GSA. So some of the dollars are there. We just said with Hal, we know that those dollars aren't quite right, but I can't fix those because they're GSA specific. So where's the rest? Some of those are happening through non-GSA contracts. Some of those are happening through IDIQs, huge IDIQs out there now. SOUP 5 just got awarded, and that is $2.5 billion a year that's being split between, I think it's 58 different companies. There was 38, now it's 58. Huge amounts of dollars, and I think that's going to go up because that's a preferred contract vehicle for IT purchase. That's just IT. So that's going to affect your Schedule 70 components. BPAs are being created either using GSA numbers or not. Do you have any BPAs, Hal?
No.
That'd be something that would be great to start to develop, working with several different companies to develop those. Agency-wide BPAs, very common, and if you find the right contracting officers, they'll do it for you. 8A sole source, 8A competitive, and micro purchases all happen potentially outside of GSA schedules, and they're reporting 27 billion. And let's figure that it's back up to the 35 billion area. It was hovering around 38 and dropped down below 35. I'm thinking that it's probably still pretty close to that, given what you just said, Hal, with the numbers that you have, and they're missing almost half of, or at least it was like half of the dollars. I'm not sure they're missing half, but if you're missing September, you're probably missing a lot because a lot of the dollars happen in there. So these are where the sales are happening. So not just looking at GSA stuff. People buy from people they like. I don't care whether they're buying GSA or not. It doesn't matter to me. Your job is to find them and get them to like you, period. That is your mission when it comes to the federal space. And knowing what's happening right now, this is the best time to be out and get out in front of those things. So I'm going to give you 5 tips for 2015. One is find your competitors' contacts. If you know who the competitors' contacts are, and this is public information, some of it. If you've gotten any of the databases out there like GovWin or anything else, you might have a few. If you're watching GSA eBuy, you might have a few. If you're watching FBO, you'll gather some contacts there. So gather those contacts and make sure that you're going after those contacts. Whatever source you have, utilize those sources. We do something a little bit different. I'll talk about that in a minute, but understand the agency and buyer motives. There's the reason why I say this way is there's 2 different ways of doing this. You have your agency initiatives that are being driven down, and then you have the individual motives of your buyers, because they may shy away from 8As or they may shy away from GSA because they don't like GSA for some reason. So hit your buying motives according to who you're going after. Some of those are personal buying motives, so you got to get in front of those people and understand what those buying motives are. But you're going to understand the agents, what's happening in the agency, and the buying motives of the people that are in the agency. The third one is update your capability statement. Even if nothing has really principally changed all that much, go ahead and update your capabilities and send out an updated capability statement. It doesn't take but a few minutes to do it. And you have the ability to then go in and show them that you have, give them a talking point or two, and make sure you're staying in front of those folks with your capability statement. Whoops. Oh, this is what it looks like. I forgot to put this in here. We talked about this last year. We'll talk about it again coming up in some of the sessions. There are multiple decision makers in this that you want to reach with this. and they have multiple buying motives. I like simple. Make it simple. I don't need a bunch of pages with a bunch of graphics. They look at Courier and Arial fonts all day long. They don't need anything super sexy. On the left-hand side here, you see the contact and contract information. This speaks to your contracting officer. Let's see if I can pop this open here. I can't. I don't know why. Right here, you have the contact and contract information, DUNS number, all the stuff that's there, all the contracting vehicles that are available, right? Then you have your bullet points so they can see what you do. Top 3 services. People concentrate on 3 things: cloud computing, desktop virtualization, custom integrations, what's here. And then you have some of the other technical services if they feel like reading on through, so they can see if anything resonates with them. So this pitches your contracting officer. This stuff pitches your program officer and program manager. There's some folks that asked about program management earlier and reaching them. So those are the folks that you want to resonate with. Now, remember that folks aren't going to hire you from this, but they will kick you out if you don't have a good one. They'll look at it and say, you don't understand my world. This says that we understand their world and we're used to doing business with the federal agencies. So the next one is become a subject matter expert. Being an expert and being able to push information to your customers, this is how they get their information. This is nothing new. The people that have influence are the people that are giving them the information, and they go to subject matter experts or people that they trust with information. And a subject matter expert is somebody that you trust with being able to supply information. One of the things that we do, that we recommend as part of our secret sauce, is we do executive and procurement briefings, providing 4 to 12 touches. And this is whether they show up or not. I really love this. And we do we're just gearing up to do several over the course of the next few months, because we get to be able to touch these folks on a regular basis. And whether or not they show up or not, it can elevate you to an expert status. So you invite them, you do a second invite. The event itself is where you are the subject matter expert and you're talking in their world and you're educating them. This is an education session. It's not a sales session. It's an education session. And then you get to be able to do follow-up calls and follow-up emails, and then scheduling meetings and making sure that you're pulling people through that funnel. Great way to set yourself up as being different than your competitors and be able to noodle in where they aren't. So become a subject matter expert, and then act as if when you are communicating with people, when you are picking up the phone, and I think, the introduction calls, we use this all the time, and being able to say, act as if you know them already, act as if they know you and your friends already. Do it with your emails and do it with your phone conversations. When you do that, you pass the BS meter and you go blow right past all of the regular rigmarole, because you're treating them as if you're friends already. Now, some people will be like, I don't know who you are. Okay, fine. That's okay. It's all right. You can back away from that anytime. But if you blow right through and you're connecting with them and saying, hey, how you doing? How did that? One of my favorites right now is, so how'd you fare with all the fiscal year-end craziness? Is dust settled yet? And next thing you know, you're talking about the year-end. It was pretty crazy. I said, I don't know how you do it. I don't know. You guys just continue to amaze me, because you're dealing with all these different pieces flying all over the place, and I wouldn't want that job. And you were connecting with them on another level. And then it's the mindset of that, acting as if you're friends already. And that gets you to a place where others cannot get through because they're being very formal. So introduction calls, there you go. So what we're going to be talking about is disrupting the competition, because that's where I love this word, and it's a negative word, but it's exactly what we want to do to our competitors. If we know who their buyer, who's buying from the competition, then we can start throwing wrenches in their spokes. From the very least, we can let people know that they have an alternative, right? We can let folks know that there's, hey, that's your primary source, like SAIC. I think they did $500 million, but they did billions of federal sales. It was $500 million in their GSA schedule, but billions in federal sales. So they're deep and wide. Everybody knows who SAIC is. So knowing that they're in there, we want to throw a wrench in the spokes of their processes. And also, we want to disrupt the current pattern of that person, that individual person buying from SAIC. We want to inject ourselves in as a viable alternative and then peel them away from the account as best we can. Now, some of those folks are in so tight and so deep, and you're not going to be competing for a $100 million contract. Not going to work. But you can pick off some of the smaller pieces, the smaller contracts, and to SAIC, $500,000 is a small contract. $1 million is a small contract, very small to them. They don't even pay attention to 500,000. That's why your GovWin and Deltec, that kind of folks, that's why they only concentrate on $500,000 and up, because they're looking to the big boys. The big boys are the people that are funding their operation. You're not a big boy. Don't even look at those things. And by the way, if it's already hitting their radar, everybody knows about it. Let's look at stuff that's under the radar. And under the radar opportunities come from individual people, reaching out to those individual people. So if you're not familiar with the Going for Gold ebook, you can get that from isiFederal. You can just go to isiFederal and log in and just type in your email, and we'll send you a link so that you can download. It's free. But one thing that I love to do is recap the things that really make things work for federal buyers, getting smart about the marketplace and preparing yourself. It's 2015 already. If you wait for 2015 to land, you're 3 months behind your competition, by the way, because 2015 started, 17 days ago? So here we are already into 2015. Your competitors are already there. So we want to get in there and get smart about the market and prepare to disrupt the current buying pattern. So that's what we're going to be doing. First step to get smart about this in 2015, identify your market, identify the competitors within that market, because if you're new to the federal space and new to GSA and having your GSA schedule, your competition isn't exactly who you think it is. In fact, let's see if I can wheel back over here. I suggest that you go map out all these folks. Just go ahead in here. I don't know if you can even see this thing. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. There we go. How about them apples? Now you can really see. All right. So find by your schedule, map out the people that you know are competitors, grab their GSA schedule information, and go grab their DUNS information, so that you can go check them out in other places to see what they're winning. And I'm telling you what, all the folks here that have the sales here, this is not the only place that they're selling. Just like Hal was saying, about 50% of his business was GSA. Some instances, it's way less than that. Some folks only sell off of GSA, or GSA-oriented contracts. But in this instance, go through here and find your real competition and say, whoa, I didn't know about these e-compacts. Have anybody ever heard of e-compacts? Well, they're $3.3 million. They're doing something right. Pitney Bowes, most people know them. Canon USA. If you compete against these folks, these are the folks that you're most likely to want. This is printing, right? Is this printing or some kind of supply, Jamey, right? 36 is...
Yeah, 36 is the office, which does cover printing, scanning, other services like that related to office imaging, including archiving documents that are in paper form and getting them to electronic.
So you find folks that are doing shredding. You find folks that are doing copying and printing. You got Xerox. You got folks that are there. Khaki International, obviously, CSC. These are two enormous companies, right? you know that they're doing billions. Both of those guys doing billions. So there's just some areas that they're playing, and then they start dipping into your world. So you need to know, pay attention to what your competitors are doing. That's where I wanted to go with that. Then you want to identify the key contacts that are associated with that. We call this the who that matters to you. Now, I don't care unless you're in that industry. You want to dive down and look at the competition to find out who is buying from those particular people. And you can't just search it because it's not there. So you have to go through multiple layers to get there. We call this market essentials. You can do this on your own. It just takes a lot of time. We've been doing this now for 6 years, and we built a database, and we go back and we filter through based on what you do, and then we go about the process of understanding what would be a competitor to you. And I just got a question from Heather. Hang on a second, Heather. What would be considered as a success for a moderately small business in the GSA market? Top 10, top 20? I think depending on what you do. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to mute you, Hal. I forgot that I had you muted. Let's see if I can let's get Heather up. Heather, you there?
I am here.
Okay, tell us first. This is Heather Silva, and tell us who you're with, Heather.
I'm with CCS Presentation Systems, also known as Commercial Computer Services.
Commercial Computer Services. So what do you guys do?
We sell audio-visual equipment.
Ah, AV stuff.
Yeah.
They don't buy any AV stuff. You know they don't. The government doesn't do anything with that.
Not a thing.
Not a thing. That's right. So depending on, so how big is your company now, Heather?
It's a nationwide company, but our headquarters is in Scottsdale, Arizona, and we have about 58 people, and I am the complete GSA division.
You are it.
I am it.
So well, good. So you're in the right place right now. So total sales for your company is how much?
It's a little bit over 1.5 million.
1.5 million with GSA or 1.5 million total?
No, with just GSA.
Okay, GSA. Congratulations, you're doing a lot of things right. You don't get to 1.5 million by accident.
No, absolutely not.
That is a fact. So 1.5 million, and your total revenue for the company is how much?
About 40 million.
40 million. So, and your objective, I would think, is probably to get that to the 10-15% part.
Correct.
Yep. So to get you your other, let's say $2.5 to $4 million in growth would put you there. As far as GSA sales, you're doing quite well. 1.5 million is right about the median place for small business companies in success with the federal government. You're at a good level for your GSA. How about your non-GSA? Where are you with or do you just handle GSA?
I just handle GSA.
So the other sales that are federal don't go through you?
No.
Okay. So you probably have a similar situation where maybe 50%, 75% of your business is not GSA though, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So looking at that, it depends. Have you found that it depends on what the buyers want?
I think at this point, I'm looking at branching out to getting another schedule onto my plate, and either going into Schedule 70
Yep.
to open up my avenue, or trying to edge into the chess area, which is nearly impossible.
Yep. Chess is very difficult. That's for those who don't know, that's the Army's version for ordering just about everything IT, commoditized for sure, right?
Correct.
Right. So Army chess is a very, very difficult to crack into. They do have on-ramping on a regular basis, but it's very difficult to crack into. And I don't have all the solutions. I just know that you just keep on trying with that. The other places I think may make sense are places like HHS, CIO, CSP, right? CIO, CS3, right? That's some place to watch because that's an IDIQ BPA type of a thing. And Army Chest is the ordering mechanism for multiple contracts like ITSB, right? It's SB, right. ITSSB,
which is ending.
So they're recompeting that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't. Do they have? Well, we'll get into that another time. But that's great.
Okay.
That's
No
you're
problem.
talking. You're speaking the right thing. You're doing the right things.
Okay.
Yeah, I think your success level is right smack in the middle of that. The average for all successful contractors is about the $3 million mark. On market cap, it looks a little bit lower because I still think these numbers are wrong. That's why. That's if you go back up here, like it's at 26 million. I think that's a lot higher, but your average sale per contract is 1.3 million or almost 1.4. So you're right in there. But this is really the one that matters the most because these are only the 10,536 are the performing contracts, and it's 2.5 million on average. But that includes people like Dell and crazy size companies, right? So,
right.
You start sucking off the bigger ones here. Let's do this let's go descending. Sorry. You start peeling back the big boys, and that's where you start to look at your true competitors. Not that you don't want to go after these guys, because Dell makes AV stuff too, right?
Yeah.
Yep, because they're doing projectors and such. Not a lot, but they do a little bit. And because they're Dell and they're already in there in a known quantity, then boom, you want to be competing for that business, right?
Right.
So yeah, I like to peel back some of these big boys. I want to go after them, but when it comes to being realistic about your marketplace and what you can expect, you got to really pound a lot harder to get GSA sales up to that $3 to $4 million. You're going to pound it pretty hard.
Great, thank you.
All right, cool. I'm gonna mute you back up, and then we'll bop back over here. What I'm going to be talking about is the marketing essentials. This is the information that we do to distill the public information that's related to you. So if you take a look at these folks, you got Don Wheatley, who did $4.5 million. This is one particular year for computer security products. So this guy's buying computer security products. He's buying other things too, but for sure, he is right in our wheelhouse, doing 21 contracts for $4.5 million. The other one is Matthew Butcher. He's got 1.7. Largest contract was $1 million. So he's got a bunch of bite-sized contracts that are split across. That's got 20 contracts for $771,000. A lot of goods under the radar kind of contracts. Now, if you've been following FBO, does everything hit FBO? No. In fact, only a very small percentage of things actually hit FBO. And to Hal's credit, once it hit FBO, it was too late for everybody else. He was already in there. He was already tracked. He could have still lost, but he was already tracking to be able to win that contract. So, but if you position yourself right, you get under the radar, you start to see some of these things start to germinate before they hit the street. And these are the people that are behind it. I don't care about opportunities. I care about the people behind the opportunities, because opportunities don't come from thin air. They come from these people. And if we know that these are the people likely to be releasing this, these are the people that you've got to get to know to get them to like you so that you can disrupt their pattern. Because right now, Don and Matt are buying from the competition right this minute. They just did it. They just finished spending a boatload of money with your competition. So what we want to do is we want to get in there, we want to inject ourselves there. And then even deeper, we want to go and look at the specific best customers of your competitors. So going through your GSA schedules, we want to isolate the ones that are most important. And I think they're the best. If they're buying from your competition, you know for a fact that they could be buying from you. Now, some of these people you're never going to be able to penetrate. They play soccer, the kids play soccer together. They're old friends. They came from the same agency. There's a level of trust. They just like each other. You're not going to be able to break in. 20%, that's the number. 20% of these people you're not going to be able to crack. But that leaves 80% of them that are going to be willing to change at some point. Your competitors miss something, or they're getting a smackdown for preferring somebody too much, or they're an 8A that expires and they have to keep it 8A, even better, right? So there's ways to be able to look at your competition and say, how can we peel this onion back and look into this really closely to find out the ones that are best for us? And what we do is we look at your competition and we say, who are the Brenda Musgroves and the Sarah Kahns and the Linda McAdams and Bruce McCarthy's for you, to say who is buying from your primary competition. Then we can build a strategy. If you take a look, we got some that are, Brenda is with Homeland Security, right? $387,000. This is one person buying from your competition. But take a look at some of these other ones. Bureau of Land Management. Did you even know they existed? If you did, then you probably looked at some of information that was really that you're paying attention to. There's a whole bunch of agencies, hundreds, 470 agencies out there that we should be paying attention to all the time and looking for where the money is. And $1.6 million, not a bad win for these folks, right? So those are the folks. And what we do is we look at their email address and the phone numbers so that you can actually go after them. Don't spend your time talking to the small business liaisons. Why? Because the small business liaisons and SBA people, the Oz, the Boos, they don't have money. They might help you get a meeting with John Sherman. Maybe, if they have juice. If they have juice, they can get you that meeting. If they don't have any juice, you can tell within 30 seconds. If you show them the list and say, hey, can you get me a meeting with John? No, I can't do that. But if you can't do that, there's not a whole lot they can do for you because they don't have any budget, they don't have any money, and they don't have any real influence. But it's the cycle that they put you in. Make sense? So a little bit about a company that knows a lot about the federal marketplace. William Scotsman does trailers and temporary buildings. A lot of those even almost look permanent. A lot of the schools we'll see when they're doing expansions, they'll pop a couple of classrooms there. That's the kind of stuff that they do. So these folks are already successful, dominant in the market. 25% of the market goes to them. That's dominant. They have $80 million in federal sales, dedicated salespeople all over the country. And they're dedicated to going after this thing, like Heather was. There's one Heather for PCS. They got a bunch of Heathers that are out there that are dedicated to doing the business development in the federal space. They have a solid federal strategy, access to all the major databases out there, all the big ones. And yet, just us little guys, because the way that we look at the marketplace is the people. I don't care about the opportunities. I want the people. Give me the people. And we will develop the opportunities. And they will be winnable opportunities, not just opportunities, winnable opportunities. So this is the best intelligence they've seen. So they changed their market strategy because of it. And they're growing again. So you can check it out. If you go to isiFederal, you can pop open its market intelligence. You'll see what you get and how it works. And you'll see the dollars associated with that. Step one is the market essentials. And we'll talk about that real quick. Key contacts who buy your stuff, your competitors' contacts, under the radar contracts. We're going to isolate these so that you can see how these folks are doing this, because there's 2.5 million contracts executed every year. There's only 130 on FBO. You do the math, 130,000. Breakdown of agency spending, primes and their contacts. So you can go after the primes contacts and get referred to the primes. It's another way of getting in there. Recommended action steps for you and your company. It's 90% of your federal strategy. And if you're struggling with your federal sales, on your GSA schedules, like some folks are, very, very important, because doing this will show 9 times out of 10, it'll show the contracting officer that you're serious about the market, and it gives you exactly what they need to see for you. So that's this. The recommended action steps: $39.95. You save $505 off of the $4,500 for the webinar special. So this is what we recommend right now. Couldn't be a better time to be involved in this. So Market Essentials, again, Link Services, they're Inc. 500 up to $70 million now, and they're class of 2012 and 2013. They find things that simply can't find on their own. These are folks that we work with regularly now. So steps, if you need something additional, which most folks do, you just don't want to know what it is, but you want to have a plan to go out and get these folks. These are the folks who buy your stuff, right? We already talked about that. Now you have to dedicate the resources to go get those people. You need to have the Heathers out there knocking on the doors and saying, hey, buy from me, buy from me, buy from me. They need to know who you are, building those relationships, dedicating those resources to going after them. We provide introductions, and then you stay after them. So it's like 1, 2, and 3A. We get you at least in the door and get you jump started. It's a blitz. We blitz this with a really cool email campaign. Very cool. Get the word out there so that you can be in front of them and stay after these folks. You got to be in front of them. You got to stay after them. So that's the Maximize September package. For this year, you get the Market Essentials, Capabilities Review, email marketing process with an introduction, first follow-up, and a second follow-up. It's really cool to watch. If let's say we find, 600 people that buy what you sell, and we target the top 200, 250. And all of a sudden you're talking to 20 or 30 of them. These are the people that are buying what you sell. This is exactly what's necessary. I'm going to get to that in a second. $52.49 is the cost for that if you're interested in that. $500 billion over the next 344 days. Let me ask what Marty says. Can you discuss how Fed bid auction and other contracts like SOUP affect GSA scheduled vendors? Yes, bad. Marty, it's not good. When you look at how SOUP has been biting into GSA Schedule 70, which is the most popular GSA schedule there is, to the tune of $2.5 billion a year. Now, Schedule 70 is about what, 15, 17 billion? So it looks like small change. No, not so much, because we find that when we're talking to people, they actually prefer SOUP over doing business with GSA. All right, we are Schedule 75, and soon will be silenced with the new OS3 contract. What can you do? Great question, Bob Thomas. That is a major problem that is crushing Schedule 75 holders. So in that atmosphere, and we do work with one of the OS2 holders that didn't win OS3. So now we're gearing up, because guess what? Can they still buy from you off of Schedule 75? Yes, they can. You know why? Because GSA is a valid schedule. Schedule 75 is still valid. They're going to discontinue Schedule 75 most likely, right, Jamey? Is that what we're hearing?
Like that. Yes.
Yeah. So they're going to you have a very short window to maximize your efforts with Schedule 75. Not all the business will go through OS3. Last time it was about 46% that went through OS2. The rest of it went through Schedule 75 or outside GSA altogether. So there is still money to be made, but you got pounded by that IDIQ or BPA, whatever they call it. So great question. Where can I access this list, and can you determine what schedules they're buying for? Yes. The answer is yes, and yes. You can access this list by calling me, and we'll do the research for you, for your company, Jennifer. And we can determine the schedules that they're buying off of. We go even better than that. We'll determine who's buying from the competition specifically. And I look at it from feeders. Hang on one second, Jennifer. Can I unmute you without causing a vortex here? Jennifer, you there? You got a mic on, Jennifer? Or not? Does not sound like it. hang on a second. Marty has a schedule 70 and a 58, which is worse. True enough. He's got a schedule 70 and a 58. Where can I, so Jennifer, we can talk about that a little bit more. Just shoot me your information. We'll talk about that specifically for your company. So 500 billion in the next 344 days, $1 trillion in the next 710, and 1.5 trillion in the next 1,075. Now, let's be real about this. They're already people lined up ready to get this money. They're already doing it right this minute. Oh, hold on a second. Let me get Jennifer back up. Let me get you, Jennifer. Jennifer, you there? Am I hearing you? Just missing you? Okay, cool. If you have your mic, I got you unmuted, but for some reason we can't do the dialogue. We'll get to you, Jennifer. We'll talk outside of this. Is GDSN GS1 going to affect GSA sales? Hal, you ask all kind of crazy questions. Hold on a second. Where are you? You still here? Hal, you there?
Yes.
All right. So tell us about GDSN GS1. What is that?
It has to do with shipping and with warehousing. I understand.
I don't know anything about it.
Oh, I was hoping you would.
Sorry, man. I don't know what is GDSN? What does it stand for?
Global. It's a standards, right?
Okay. I'll have to do some research there, big man. I don't know anything about that, but I'll find out. Now that you asked me the question, now I got to know. I'm going to look like an idiot in front of everybody.
It's all right.
That's all right, man. Look, I'm the first person to tell you I don't know everything. I just when I know something, I'm willing to share it, but I'll figure it out and we'll do it. Cool, man. I'll find out. We'll make it a topic in the next one. Sound good? All right. So pick one of these. You can get moving on those. The market essentials. To your point, Jennifer Thomas. Market essentials is what gets you there. Step 1 and step 2, 3A gets you the blitz out in front of people. So it's a combination. Most of the time when people see what we do, they wind up doing the blitz and usually a lot more than that because there's all kind of resources that you need in order to be able to do it. So again, market essentials gives you all those pieces, and then the rest of it for your blitz package, your capabilities. We'll do a capabilities review. We'll do the e-marketing process all the way through the second follow-up. Very cool process that you guys can use, and it gets you out in front of people right away. So the next webinar is November 18th. Again, Happy New Year. We're going to be working on disrupting your competition through 2015. That's my mantra for this particular one, because if you're already there in the federal space and you have your GSA schedule, which most of you do, that is exactly what you want to be doing. And if you need additional schedules, I know Jennifer, we were talking to Jennifer about her no, it wasn't Jennifer, was it? That was Heather. How serious is the UPC codes on products? Should I be wasting time doing it? Let's take that offline, Heather. Depends on what it is that you're doing as to whether you should be doing it. So we'll catch up with that. We're up against the hour, so we appreciate you guys being here. Go to isiFederal.com, download the free ebook. You can do that. It's going for gold. We'll probably do an amendment to that towards January, February. We did it again this year. If you're doing credit card sales, reach out to Revolution Payment Systems because they can help you with your level 3 compliance and reduce, more importantly, on the bottom line, they can, you start talking about 0.5%, 1% of your total sales, that becomes very significant, especially when it comes to your profit margins on commoditized products. So there you go. GSA schedules, get them to pay off, grow your federal sales, increase the business value, and put the tax dollars back into your bank account, and you have this face of pure accomplishment of this young man. I love this picture. It's one of my favorites. And feel free to reach out to us at any time. We will certainly love to talk with you. There's my email address, as well as Jamey and Sean, if you're interested in the Revolution payment. So there you go. And any other questions we will get to. Let's see. Yep, Jennifer, we'll get back to you, and Heather, I'll get to you as well. Anything else you'd like to discuss in future things, please let me know. We'd love to have it. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you next month as we look at how to develop those GSA sales. Thanks for joining us, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks, Jamey.
Thank you.